Good morning and welcome to the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between. Right here on 106.9 The Country Giant. We are glad that you're with us this morning. You got Hodge right now. You'll have Hodge for a little bit. Then Misty will join us, and of course Josh as well. We're glad that again that you're with us here, kicking off our first show in October. And we're hoping maybe we got a lot of news coming from the station that we're excited about sharing with you. But we are glad we've got no time to kill. Appreciate Clint Black. We got no time to kill. There's so much to talk about this morning. Total a lot of football, baseball. Rangers are still rolling, still in the playoffs. Now we've got high school football. A lot of teams started district a couple weeks ago, like the Anson Tigers that you can hear tonight as they head out to Blizzard Land to take on the Winters Blizzards at 7 o'clock tonight. But there's a lot of the 16 districts are starting district play tonight, just like the guests that we'll have at the bottom of the hour for our Big Country Electric My Town segment. The Jim Ned Indians are getting ready to kick off not only district, but a homecoming week for the Indians. And so we're going to have their tribal council, they call them, in studio at the bottom of the hour for our Big Country Electric My Town segment. But we're glad you're with us this morning. We're brought to you by Lidle Landing Cattle, where you can get a Hodge Pack. Cheese sticks are back. So head over to Lidle Landing Cattle. We'll get you a Hodge Pack today, this weekend, or anytime, and tell them you heard it right here on 106.9 The Country Giant. Again, tons to talk about. We're coming off of a big weekend of football, a big weekend of the bounce back of the Dallas Cowboys. Just so much going on in the world of sports. We're glad that you're choosing to be with us. We've got our Pest Patrol phone line. We've got our celebrity, you didn't know, guest picker. Big weekend for the McMurray University folks as they hit 100, and they'll be recognizing their 100 All-Century team. And part of that will be head baseball coach Josh Lee in the 8 o'clock hour. He'll be joining us to do some picks. We don't have headgear for Hardin Simmons McMurray, but he'll be here to help pick some games. Again, unfortunately, Tara Ward did not beat Molly, so Talon Cobb is still the only celebrity guest picker to be smarter than Molly and smarter than a fifth grader. And so Josh will have those stats of who's winning, and we've got koozies, and we're working on ordering the big grand prize for the season-long winner. You still have time to get the picks in. They're up on our Facebook page of who you need to pick as our 10 games this week. A lot of fun games this weekend. Again, Red Rival Shootout, rivalry, whatever you want to call it, is happening at State Fair. So a lot of stuff to talk about. And so we're going to just dive right into our Lawrence Hall Headline Report. Lawrence Hall Headline Report. It's been a tough couple of weeks for baseball fans, for sports fans, all across the landscape. Yet this past week, Tim Wakefield, longtime knuckleballer, passes away at the age of 57. Two-time World Series champion, known for the knuckleball, also a good golfer, celebrity golfer, passes away at the age of 57. So unfortunately, just another baseball great, Brooks Robinson last week, and even a younger Tim Wakefield. So just tough week for baseball last couple of weeks with the folks passing. And then last night, Thursday Night Football, yesterday the news broke that 80-year-old Dick Butkus passes away at the age of 80. And whether or not, we don't know if it was inspiration or if maybe something clicked with the Chicago Bears last night, Thursday Night Football on Prime. The Chicago Bears went 40-20 over the Commanders, who were coming off a bit of an emotional loss. Sam Howell played okay, had one interception, did some good things, but really the story last night was Justin Fields and DJ Moore. We've talked about how the Bears have had such an issue losing a defensive coordinator, just stuff going on around the building, not playing very well, and should Eberflus be gone? He's a defensive guy. All these things surrounding the Chicago Bears. They'd lost 14 in a row, and last night, maybe they were playing for Dick Butkus. Maybe they were playing for just really trying to be an NFL team that should be better. A lot of people thought they might be when you added DJ Moore. The Claypool thing's been a problem, but they add DJ Moore. DJ Moore goes off last night, 49 points on a fantasy football level, and they win big. And all the national shows, the new show on ESPN, some of these others are talking about, should the Chicago Bears move off from Justin Fields and trade him away and start going to try to get Caleb Williams and all this. Here's the thing. Their schedule right now shows a very favorable an opportunity to maybe win a few. They got Minnesota next, which is not separating themselves from anybody. They got the Las Vegas Raiders, which we've not seen them separate. They can't decide on a quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't healthy. And then they go to Los Angeles. The Chargers could be a tough game there, but we never know how good the Chargers are because defensively they find a way to win some games. I think Kellen Moore will be the new head football coach at LA for the Chargers. I don't know if it'll be midseason, but you mark right now, October 6th, Kellen Moore will be the next head coach in LA for the Chargers. And then so the Bears have a chance to really get going back on track. And so trying to go away from him right now, I disagree with. See what he can do. Try to make a run. Trade deadline is October 31st. So if you make that trade and you want it, they were talking about sending him to Atlanta to try to tank and get ready for Caleb Williams or some of the other, the Drake kid out at the May kid out of North Carolina. You just don't know how good those guys are going to be. Fortunately, C.J. Stroud for the Texans is doing good. Bryce Young can't stay healthy, struggling a little bit there in Carolina. Anthony Richardson starting to show maybe he may be the guy. Other news there, Jonathan Taylor back practicing. It sounds like he's on board. Maybe he was just waiting to see, hey, how good is this rookie quarterback? So the NFL news last night, but Thursday Night Football, the Chicago Bears beat Washington 40-20. Now I want to go back to Riverboat Ron. Last week in the Commanders lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. You do a great job getting a stop, getting a drive. Sam Hill takes them down. You get a break. Homer clock. Don't find a way to get that clock to zero. There's 1 second left on the clock, and you score a touchdown. And you're down one. And extra point sends you to overtime. You're on the road, and Riverboat Ron did not risk anything. Riverboat Ron did not do anything at all. Didn't try to bluff, didn't do anything, and kicked the extra point. Now, something, well, that's what you do. I think that was very old school. I think right there, if you're on the road, NFC East rival, you're on the road, momentum may be a little bit in your favor. You just scored the touchdown. Here's the thing. I think you earn more respect by losing on a failed 2-point conversion than you do about an extra point, tying it, and then losing in overtime. Had an opportunity there. They unfortunately did not come through with it. A couple of things I want to talk about because I can do this. The Ryder Cup is over real quick. The Sanderson tournament is underway, rolling that flip-flop schedule. People are playing. Chesson Hadley shoots a 64 to lead the first round of the Sanderson tournament this weekend. But want to take a little quick moment to recap some Ryder Cup because Josh isn't here yet, Misty isn't here yet. I'm the guy that loves golf. I want to talk about it. The USA come up short. Another 30-year drought continues. At least the Bears got off their 14 losing streak skid, and inspirational by Dick Butkus. Well, inspiration was in the room of the Europeans, whether it's Sevi, whether it's just the fact that we wanted to prove that we are still good. The Europeans win the cup in a pretty big fashion, 16.5 over to 11.5. And we saw some guys, some of the rookies had a good round. But, when you start off, you can't lose a tournament. You can't win a tournament on the first day, but many times you can lose it. And on Friday, when the Europeans go 4-0, just sweep, kicked our tail, and really in the afternoon we had some halves, but we did not win a match until Saturday morning. And you had guys that a lot of us, if you don't follow golf, which some of you may watch it at the majors, and you might even slipped over to watch some of the Ryder Cup because you woke up in the middle night. But there was a lot of guys on that other team. Now, the A-Bear guy, people around here know him maybe because he's from Tech. But he was playing. A lot of guys people hadn't heard of. And they found a way to really just dominate. Terrell Hatton and John Rahm, very good combination, but even they got split up some. Rory played well. Of course, there was a lot of controversy about Joe LaCava being in the way of Rory, and Patrick can't lay the hat. And was there a tension in the team room because the hat didn't fit and Patrick Cantley wanted to make money on the Ryder Cup? And multiple times, and he never said who, and I don't know who the reporter was that was saying that all this drama was going on in the USA team room. But the problem with that U.S. team room, apparently what Patrick Cantley said, none of it was true. The hat just didn't fit. We all have that. We've got guys that are try to get me a hat, these fitted hats that are flexible. That hat doesn't fit me well. So don't get offended when I don't want your hat. It just doesn't fit me well. So I'm going to call it, I'm sorry, I'm Patrick Cantlay when your hat don't fit. But in all that, so we have all this drama. But the biggest drama is that we lose again on European soil, and the crowd was rowdy and the crowd was loud, and there was some unfriendly language said back and forth to fans and all those things. And in 2 years, we're going to have it here in New York. And I'm just saying, European guys better be ready for it. But I go back to this, and he played okay. But one thing that Europe didn't do, one thing that Europe, after Henrik Stenson left and went to the Live, they gave it to Luke Donald. You know what's going to happen? Luke Donald, he's going to be a Ryder Cup captain again. I don't know if Henrik Stenson will ever get another chance. I don't know what the view is going to be of the Live guys on the European Tour. But we saw one on ours, and Zach Johnson picked Brooks Koepka. Nothing against Brooks Koepka. Nothing against Zach Johnson. I like Zach Johnson. I like Kim Johnson. He loves the Lord. He does some good things, two-time major champion. But unfortunately, I don't know if Zach's going to get another shot. A lot of controversy. Did he tell Jordan to switch clubs? He says he didn't. But the bottom line is the European guys kicked our tail. And I hope it sets in, and hope within 2 years we build up. And when they come here, we find a way to get the cup back. But more importantly, set a tone that when we go back to Europe in 2027, we find a way to keep it. But Europe dominated. Robert McIntyre's a stud. Shane Lowry's a stud. So congratulations to Europe. You earned it. You kicked her tail. And so hopefully we will find a way in 2 years. And that's the struggle. Be interesting. Who will be the captain in 2 years? Maybe Tiger. Who knows? But we probably know it won't be Phil. When we come back, we'll look at a little bit of the Rangers, and we'll look at Major League Baseball. As Major League Baseball is rolling through, everybody gets a little bit of a break. Saturday kicks off the divisional rounds as the wild card. All of them got swept. All of them ended quickly. And so we'll see what we kind of decide on that. Heck, we may even try to call Josh. Well, who knows? But again, that's our Lawrence Hall Headline Report. When we come back, we'll have our first Bank and Trust Texas Ranger Major League Baseball report. I'll give you my thoughts on what Major League Baseball should do right after this. All right, folks. Appreciate y'all tuning in. GymNet Nation. Hopefully, we're going to have some Tribal Council guys in shortly. All right, when we come back, Major League Baseball playoffs. Hey, are you in the school zone, or can I call you and do the Ranger report with you? Okay. What's up, guys? Hey, guys. Sorry. Y'all did it? All right, Luke, Barry, y'all have a good day. All right. All right, everybody. Let's go, Brady. Brady. All right. Maddie. Barry. Hey, So it's Sammy. Hearing that? I was preaching routine. Yeah. So we got a couple more commercials. It actually works out good that Josh in here. All of them have to feel obligated to talk. The only thing you're going to have to say is who you are, what position you play, and all that. Did your mom send you those questions that I kind of send? Did she send out to y'all? No. Okay. All right. So Jake and Brayden, you were on the show when you were 8th grade. Okay, right? Remember that? So that question of what have you learned since 8th grade? And then we'll talk about non-district, getting ready for this, how y'all kind of rallied around. You got new quarterback having played with Grace, or done 2 years. So how you rallied all that, you'll be fine. Our recommendation is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You'll share those 2 mics. We got one more segment. We'll talk about baseball, and then we'll come back. All right. We'll talk about booty and all that. If you can send some of those to them, we'll have to go through the roll call. We'll go through the roll call here in a minute again. Which one of y'all had Miss Holmes in kindergarten? Which one's so good kid? Did you have Miss Holmes in kindergarten?
No,
I know. Did you go to Wiley's? But one of your
It might have been my sister.
Oh, maybe. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between, right here on 106.9 The Country Giant, where you can hear all the great music, just like the stuff that JB Cloud plays. Probably have some Marty Stewart today. Don't forget, you can buy your tickets for Marty Stewart, October 8th, this coming Sunday at the ParamountAbilene.com. Get your tickets. Be sure you can, again, Marty Stewart's going to be great. 7:30 tea time kickoff, whatever you call it. Concert starts at 7:30. So get your tickets for Marty Stewart. Now we're excited. It is time for our First Bank and Trust Texas Ranger Report, and we get to talk about stuff like this. Seager just dominating. The Texas Rangers sweeping the Tampa Bay Rays, winning their wild card series, getting ready for the Baltimore Orioles, the AL East champions. But I'm going to tell you what's great about Major League Baseball and great about Major League Playoff Baseball. And I love Emily Jones. She's awesome. She's amazing. I love the folks that are in the booth. But the best thing about it, it is not hard to find. It's kind of like Deion Sanders. Come find me. I'm easy to find. It's easy to find. It's on ESPN. It's on ABC. You get to watch playoff baseball. We got to watch it. Now, unfortunately, 2 things. It's a double-edged sword, or whatever you call it. Unfortunately, it was at 2 o'clock, but fortunately, technology and an iPad, you can watch football, and you can watch stuff, and you can watch baseball, and you can watch sports. And that's what we got to watch. And all of the wild card series gets swept. Again, First Bank and Trust, Texas Ranger Major League Baseball Report. We appreciate First Bank and Trust. See them, find them right there on Treadway, just like Deion. I ain't hard to find. Just go find Josh and folks there, Weston, all those there at First Bank and Trust. But as we look at it, we saw some excitement, some good pitching. Montgomery had some great plays. Heck, I think he won a Gold Glove just in his one game alone. Diving catches, getting over to first. That's why during spring training you go through and you do the hey cover first drills. Did a really good job. Evan Carter, you've heard Josh talk about Evan Carter. And it's just really escalated. The kid was playing high school baseball not long ago, and now he's moving on into the divisional round for the Texas Rangers. And so Uvalde pitched well, seeing some hits, seeing some runs. So it was a really great job by the Texas Rangers. Really, and I'm really hoping that the continual play. Now we're about to get a break. They took care of business on Wednesday to win the series. Now you've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday before. And again, the other thing that you're seeing with the Texas Rangers being able to do it on the road. Now the atmosphere in Baltimore and Camden Yards is going to be a little bit more. There are more GymNet Indians in this studio right now than there were at the baseball game in Tropicana. Not really. There's only actually, I'm going to stick with my statement. I said what I said. But so the Texas Rangers go on the road, take care of business, and now take on Baltimore. And the good thing is, as you look at this, the Baltimore-Texas Rangers series this season, 3-3. So the 3-3, you see opportunities that, we feel like we match up well. And if we're hitting the ball, and again, if Josh has a chance in this segment, we may get him to call in and see what his thoughts are. But the thing is the Rangers, I really believe, getting to continue to play, even though there was a struggle, even though we needed one win, we needed 2 runs to win the AL West, you needed that. But you got to keep playing. You got to, I have to. You are able to and have the privilege of continuing to play, continuing to roll, and you started to see some things. Seager, you bouncing back. You heard Simeon coming in. Evan Carter. I still think one of the biggest B12 shots we got was B6, and that's Josh Young being back in the lineup. And just, who'd have thought that a guy like that would be such a big impact in the fact that even though just being in the room, just being in the locker room, just being in the clubhouse. And so the Texas Rangers now head to Baltimore. It's real funny. Baltimore and Texas are going to be playing early again. Josh, in his great research, saw that Billy Joe has a concert that night. And so they had to move it and rearrange it. They didn't even think the Baltimore Orioles would be good enough. So they went and had a booked a concert there at Camden Yards. And so can you imagine the teardown from baseball to Billy Joe and then getting ready for another baseball game? So anyway, those are the things that are happening. But let's look at the rest of it. Rest of the series. Again, now everybody's involved. The divisional winners are involved. And so the Blue Jays go home packing. The Minnesota Twins, those at the Central, the Central, American League Central, that everybody kind of thought wasn't a very good division, back and forth, them in Cleveland, not a great record. But again, having to compete down the stretch, I do think that's going to matter. I do think that matters when you have to compete and you have to give it all you got. We're going to see the Braves haven't played a meaningful game since probably spring break, it seems like. And so being able to compete each and every week and having to grind to get into the playoffs. So the Minnesota Twins take care of the Blue Jays. They win that series, sweep it 2-0. And then also, the Diamondbacks take care of business. Again, another team battling at the end, finds the way to beat the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers get sent packing, and they are no longer in. And, of course, the Philadelphia Phillies, coming off of last year, really good series, really good run, playing well. And now, so we set up the divisional round. The divisional rounds you've got, again, we've mentioned Texas and Baltimore, 3-3 there. And I know if you're a network person, if you're a Texas Ranger person, number one, Texas Rangers, you want to win the series. Number two, if you're a network people, you want Texas and Houston. I don't know. Again, Josh is taking care of children, but I'm curious to see. I'm sure Josh doesn't care because he don't care who's there, because that means the Texas Rangers found a way to get by a very good Baltimore team. But again, 3-3 on the series on the year for the Texas Rangers and the Baltimore Orioles. The other ones, the Houston Astros, actually did not win the series this year. 4-2 to the Twins. So Minnesota may have an edge. Again, have been playing, have been rolling, and are heading into Houston on Saturday to take on the Astros. And then in the National League, you've got, again, the 4 divisional teams playing against each other. The Philadelphia Phillies heading to Atlanta, and the Arizona Diamondbacks heading to L.A. to take on the Dodgers. And again, in those series, 8-5 L.A., 8-5 Atlanta. But again, when you get to the playoffs, and again, you had a bit of a run, you've had to get way to get in it. Philadelphia probably has a little bit of a bitter taste. Not a bitter taste. The Atlanta Braves have a bitter taste in their mouth. And so, again, they have not played a real meaningful game because they had such a big lead in the AL East. And so it looks like Saturday, the Texas Rangers I don't see starting pitching yet. Josh may have that when he comes in. And then they start again, 12 o'clock, Rangers and the Orioles right in the middle of the Red River shootout, Red River rivalry, whatever you want to call it. But I guarantee it, I'll have multiple TVs going as well. That's if I don't, hurt myself playing corporate Olympic. Hey, there's Misty. Hey, there you go. Misty, hop on. There you go.
Hello.
There's Misty. Misty's here. There we go. How's it going? Sorry there.
No, sorry. I came in. I was like, oh, hi.
Yeah, we have a whole tribal council, literally, like everybody in America.
I know, this is great. I dressed for the occasion.
There you go.
Got my run on today.
There you go. And for the Rangers, how's your week going?
It's going great. Yeah. It's Friday. We've got a holiday weekend. It's going to be a Ranger right now.
Yeah. Well, for the holiday, that is.
Yeah.
Some of the other, I don't know if it's exciting right now, but it's getting better. Let's get that camera on. There we go. So there's so much going on. There's a lot of Rangers. Yes, you're still in the camera. There's no way to get out of it. They're trying so hard. But there's so much going on this weekend. You've got the baseball playoffs. You've got high school football tonight. You've got an amazing college football weekend this weekend. Of course, the big game that we'll talk about later, the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, it is a jam. I mean, crap. So yeah, crap's okay to say. Hockey starting, NBA starting, literally every sport under the moon. We're going to check and see if cricket started. Is going on right now, and it's a great time to be a sport.
Yes, this is the most wonderful time of the year. We talked about it last week. Leading up to the holidays, playoffs, all the things. It's my favorite time of the year.
And so, anyway, I'm going to wrap up this segment with the rest of the baseball kicking off this weekend. Everybody's playing tomorrow. Again, the Texas Rangers play at 12, Phillies and Braves at 6. Well, that's a terrible job on their part. And then, of course, you got Twins, Houston, Diamondbacks, and the Dodgers. Should be great baseball. I love postseason baseball. It's a lot of fun. Every pitch matters. Everything matters because you don't want to get in a bind and have to go back and, on the road. And when you lose, you get your golf clubs ready because you're going to go on vacation. Speaking of vacation, these guys are not on vacation. When we come back, Misty, you're going to stick around. We're going to find a way to share all these mics with all these 400 people in here.
It's going to be interesting.
Yes, this is by far our biggest group we've ever had. I think, literally tallest and biggest.
I was going to say Colin's softball team. Yeah. There was a lot of those little girls.
Yeah, but you are bigger.
Yeah,
You are bigger than softball girls. That's always a plus. All right, when we come back, our Big Country Electric My Town segment, the Jim Ned Tribal Council, as they're trying to win a district championship, keep it rolling. And some of these guys have grown up from 8th grade and now on the show again as seniors. That's two good things. One, their education fell, and B, we're still on the air. We'll be back, right? All right, I've got to run and make sure the.
Where's Josh?
You got the brownie, right?
I forgot y'all were going to be in studio, so I was like, what the heck is happening?
Chef, do whatever you need to do. I'm going to check the streaming. Who's going to be the majority of the talkers? Bill? Okay.
Where's Josh? Is he coming? We'll be right back.
Right now, we still live. Oh, shoot.
So now, Gray, you're a junior. Good. All right, and you have the biggest truck on the team, is what I'm being told.
You do?
Jake does. All right, so it's their homecoming. These two were on the show when they were 8th graders.
Somebody can share the mic with me.
See what
don't bite. I don't bite, I promise.
Hard.
You'll just have to really like get in on the mic.
All right, so who's going to do most of the talking? All right, Braden, take that to you. Pull that to you.
And yeah, just get pretty close whenever you talk.
All right.
I may have to, maybe I'll stand for this segment because it's like he's so tall. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just hit your foot? Oh my gosh.
Good job. You just
So I know, like that.
Good job. You just hurt the kid that's already hurt. Sorry, Graham.
Sorry.
She's a bull in China cloth.
I am.
So
I'm sorry.
all right, so Barrett's here. Correct? Barrett's here. Maddox there. Braden's here. Davis, Sylvan behind the mountain. Jake's here. Carter Wood. Greg's here. Carter Lane. Zayden. Okay. Did I miss anybody? Okay. All right, I'm going to run through these. All right, so one of the things
Okay, so we have a mix of juniors and seniors.
I think we have
Right? Or
three
do we have any
juniors.
sophomores?
Gray, Carter, and Zayden are juniors. Everybody else is seniors.
Wow, love seniors this year. Have to refill that. Yep, that's right.
All right, so we're going to talk about the tribal council. Hey, we'll talk about that. We're going to ask that question about what you've learned as eighth graders. That's you two have got to answer both of that. And then I want somebody to get other people involved. Does anybody want to explain the tribal council or leave it to Brady? All right, great job. Hey, you're a lawyer's kid. You ought to be able to do that. And then y'all just kind of share it and get up. And if you talk loud enough, you'll be fine, but you'll want to get closer to it.
Yeah, like pretty close to it.
And now Michael Beasley's your uncle. What game did you get hurt in? The wall game. How often have y'all beaten Wall as seniors? Is that the only time? Because eighth grade y'all didn't like lose a game, right? And then things started moving around as y'all got into it.
Oh, I was
So it's like been like in every other.
But that's all right, we're coming back.
Okay, here we go.
Well, welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between. As you hear, it's time for our Big Country Electric My Town segment, brought to you by Big Country Electric Cooperative, with three amazing offices, Roby, Snyder, and Stanford. They're always serving and taking care of their members. It was so good to see Will Donovan yesterday, who works there at Big Country Electric. We appreciate them, and again, they serve their members each and every day. Rain, all the things that they go through and deal with those linemen. In October is Co-op Appreciation Month. So those of you in the Big Country Co-op world, be sure you thank your Big Country Electric Co-op again. 85 years celebrating, taking care of their members. So we appreciate them and all that they do. And our Big Country Electric My Town segment, we highlight a local player, coach, or program. And today we've got a program, and we thank pretty much all the players. Not quite, but it's close. Misty, were you nervous when you turned the corner and there was a bunch of people?
I was. I did not think they were in the studio. I knew
you,
we were interviewing, but I didn't know they were physically going to be here.
Were you more nervous about seeing all of them or when you ran into Rock?
I don't know. Rock really got me.
Yeah. For those that are curious,
They're
we have the
always
Rock by Zoa, a nice energy drink with our friends from Reed Beverage. All right, so in here, I'm going to go through a roll call because those that are watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, you can tell that we've got a roster. So we got, just kind of wave those of you that aren't going to talk for the camera so your mama and your parents can enjoy it. You're going to hear this kind of moment. Senior offensive lineman Barrett Browning's here. There's the wave from Barrett. Good job. Senior offensive lineman Maddox Cooper. A bit of a wave. Senior running back Braden Shipman. Braden's going to be talking here in a moment. We got Davis Sobin, offensive lineman. There you go, big wave behind the mountain, they say. Jake Whitley, the mountain. Go ahead and wave. There you go, Jake. We got Carter Wood. Carter Wood back there. He plays some basketball too. Don't yell at me if I referee your games this year. Greg Beasley. Greg Beasley's here. We praying for him. Great recovery for him and bouncing back. Carter Lane, big tall guy coming out of nowhere. And then Zayden Wisher. Zayden, I've met his grandfather. Didn't know that until a couple weeks ago. So we preach in the same town. Good stuff. So we got all them. Now you've waved your hand. You've done all. What's pretty cool about this group is there's two of them, and I mentioned it earlier as we were going to the break. Jake and Braden were part of a really good 8th grade class that are now, some of those are obviously those are seniors, and we'll talk about the transition. But Jake, we'll start with you. What have you learned since the 8th grade year? Obviously, you've grown. So is Braden. Everybody's grown. That's a good thing about growing from 8th grade. You don't want to not stop growing. So what have you learned since what's the difference in an 8th grade radio show football player and a senior football radio show player?
I've learned a lot more football, and I've learned a lot of good life lessons, how to be a good guy. That's one of our rules at Jim May is becoming a good guy. Just got a lot of good life lessons.
Well, and that's good. And so, Braden, you're kind of the same boat. You're 8th grader, now senior, getting to be the running back and be the senior and all those things. So talk about that, the transition from 8th grade to senior, and kind of Jake talked about just learning. I mean, the playbook gets a little bigger when you leave that junior high. Talk a little bit about that.
You have to know a lot more plays, and one of the main things that I've learned about being varsity and going and playing varsity football these years that just had, there's this verse that we have that we kind of keep our team accountable to, and it's Revelation 3:16 says, neither hot, so because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I'm about to spit you out my mouth. And what that really means to us is that you can't be half in or half out. You have to be all in on the team.
Well, and we talk about a lot of those things in, all in. And of course, that's the Church of Laodicea. So do not be, don't be lukewarm. It's never good. So, all right. So you guys are called the Travel Council. Brownie, why don't you talk a little bit how that becomes? Because we've got some seniors and juniors. A lot of times people think the captain for the Travel Council may be all seniors. Talk about what your role is about the Travel Council and making sure that you have everybody bought in.
Travel Council is just about setting up for groups. Obviously, freshmen, a lot of those Travel Council guys that they look up to, and they certainly set the bar and set it for you. So we're just here hoping to do that for next year.
So, and Misty came in and talked about how, a lot of seniors, and we've got a couple of juniors, Gray and Carter, Lange, juniors, any other juniors, Zayden. Carter, you are a junior, right? Okay. And so in all that, you guys were freshmen when the state championship was won. And so you start thinking about the responsibility that comes with the program. You see it in the NFL, you see it at the college level. The expectations are different. The expectation at Georgia is different than the one even at Texas Tech. Does Texas Tech want to win a national championship? Yes. But they also understand the steps that they've got to do to close that gap for the programs that have done it. Where do you find that? And either one of you three, and if Maddox wants to talk about it too, how do y'all embrace that now? Because Barrett, you mentioned it, or Maddox, whoever, you mentioned about as freshmen, you looked up to those guys. What kind of responsibility do you feel like you have? I'll go to you, Maddox, as a senior, not necessarily to win a state championship, because I think you want to just take one game at a time. But how do you feel that pressure, or is there pressure, or do you just go play football?
We've been doing this for so long that we kind of just go play football. We definitely want to win a state championship, and that's the goal. We take it one game at a time, and it's a big responsibility to all do our own role. But it's definitely important to win a state championship, and that's what we want to put in the win. But we definitely want to take it one game at a time. So we saw what happened at Eastland a week and a half ago, and so if we don't do our own thing, then that's what's going to happen again.
Well, and you talk about that. You had to bounce back. You've got Gray that was playing well, and unfortunately, injuries are part of the game. So, as seniors, how do you find a way to rally around Dean, and how do you rally around? You want to be there for your brother. And I was asking Greg, praise God, he's a junior, get well, have another great time for a senior. How do you rally around that and say, hey, guys, Dean, we've got you. Barrett, you want to take that one?
It's all just extra adversity. We just got to go through it. Every football team goes through adversity, and we just come up together. We just got to go through it.
Well, and I think as an offensive lineman, I'm going to look at you, Jake, have the responsibility that you have to say, hey, don't worry, Dean, we got you. Dean, don't worry, Dean, we got you. So how do you rally around the rest of you other four guys in the backup linemen and say, hey, we're going to take care of it. We're going to stay all in and not look at this. Because you could easily say, oh, dang, we're done. We lost to Eastland. So where do you find that within you guys? Hey, we're going to be the tribal council, and we're going to keep leading this team as seniors.
Like Greg said, can't be lukewarm. We just all have to be all in and try to build Dean up the best we can to get him to play his best game and just hope he trusts in us that we're going to do that for him.
And so let's talk about it. You went 4-1. You're 4-1 right now. What does that open week look like for Jim Ned? I know different people handle it differently. Braden, what does it look like? Because you not only have open week, but you're getting ready for district, and you have the mums and the garters, right? Aren't we homecoming? Everybody coming back, telling stories of all the times they went to land trips before it was not Vicky's and all the things. What does open week look like for Jim Ned?
We really just work on past weeks, miscues, and we fix all the little things. And if we fix all the little things, then it makes the bigger picture a lot easier to think.
And so how do you – all right, so you as seniors, not only do you want to win a district game, but you don't want to be the team that loses homecoming. So I've got one question. Missy's going to ask a question. Our listeners is, so how do you not focus? How do you block out the extracurricular? Because there's probably a parade, there's a pep rally, there's all the things that come with that. Barrett, how do you block all that out?
All that other stuff is just like it's just adversity.
Well, and Coach Cates talked about this at Merkel. Homecoming is really, it's for the people that's coming in. Y'all still have a job to do. You still have a business to take care of, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's putting pipe in the ground, for whatever it is. You still got a business to do to take care of that. And so what do you think it's going to take tonight? And again, Bowie's going to be tough. Bowie's coming, want to win. They want to be 1-0 in district as well. So, Maddox, what do you think y'all are going to have to do to make sure that because the 4-1 doesn't mean anything right now. 0-0, what do you think it's going to take for Jim Ned to be 1-0 in district and have another homecoming week?
We come out with practice, and we had a great practice this week, and we're all together, we're all high, and we come out like that, and we play together as a team, we're all goals, and I'll try to shine individually. That's the point of that. It was also today district title.
All right, Missy's got a question.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions. So obviously walk-up songs are more for baseball, and we're talking football. So I have two questions. What is your game day ritual? So is there something that you do? Is it a pair of socks? Is it a pair of underwear? I don't know. Something that's like lucky to you. And if you could have a walk-up song coming out, running out on the field, what would it be and why?
Jake, you got anything while they're...
I feel like he's like my bouncer. I feel very protected right now.
Do you have anything that you do every Friday? There you go. Braden, anybody? Anybody got anything to help?
They got something.
Me and Maddox before the home game walk out to the 50-yard line back. Give it a good game. Other than that, it's like a person just have all
Do y'all have any kind of routines? Because I'm like you. I'm a big believer. I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in rituals. Now, I am very routine-ish, and I don't think that makes me necessarily lucky. But is there any routine things that you do each time, how does Coach Fanning get you? I mean, we see in college sports, there's always a camera in there, and we're not playing for clicks. We're not playing for clicks. Is there? So what is a game? So what does game day look like? How will y'all finish today before kickoff?
really they just let out the house and just focus on their task at hand and really push that outside.
Do y'all go see little kids or anything like that? There you go.
He
Good.
said no.
Good answer, Barry. Good answer. Hey, I appreciate you guys coming in. I appreciate the support of the choir at the back. It's always good. It's a team effort. Jake, thanks for stepping up. Braden, Barrett, Maddox, thank y'all. Go get you another one. Hey, find a way to continue to play well. Greg, praying that everything goes well, good healing, and be ready for next year and all the things. So appreciate Jim Ned coming in. Bowie Jackrabbits coming to town tonight. I think Indians probably went and got Jackrabbits for dinner back in the day. So go get another one tonight and be 5-1, but more importantly 1-0. Appreciate you guys coming in today. That's the Jim Ned Tribal Council loaded up, ready to really take care of Bowie tonight. I'm sure there'll be some class of whatever you want to call it. A lot of stories coming into town. Nights maybe at the old Vala Community Center, land trips, all the things Jim Ned as homecoming 2023 is heading to Jim Ned. When we come back, Misty and I will start. We'll try to look for Josh. Traffic may be crazy in Jim Ned. You never know. But when we come back, more Hodge Pack, sports life, and everything in between. Do you enjoy the Potosi Live experience yet? Really well.
Let's go pick.
We'll be back on the podcast.
Got long on it.
You go with Mark Lane.
Okay.
I didn't need no superstition.
Ken Walker, can you hear me now? You may not have been able to hear them because they weren't very loud. Can you hear me? Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jake.
He said that he had too many superstitions. He could not go with all of them. Yeah. No, that's a cute selfie.
Josh, while you go to the can you see if you can hear Facebook Live or YouTube? See if I can hear it. Hey, for Jim Ned folks, we'll have it on the podcast. You can go back. I know Ken said may not could have hear. We got so much going on behind us. Working on getting that thing care of. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up just about the station in general. But we'll have it on the podcast. We'll upload that. I'll try to get uploaded today or over the weekend. But again, I thought they did a great job and hope you guys can continue to play well and win some ball games.
Perfect. Yeah, he said he doesn't skip a song. Like when he's listening to songs that day, he doesn't skip. He's like, I have too many.
I think they weren't very loud.
No. Yeah.
Yes, sir. No. Why? No. Everybody's in the studio. I mean, think about it.
Oh, okay.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack Sports Live and everything in between. Rolling through the 7 o'clock hour. Now full fledged. Josh has done Ubering and parenting, and now here we're going to try to do the Texas Ranger report over the phone, but unfortunately, he was still in line where he could get a very high ticket.
It was more the my boys would not be quiet.
Oh, that's the reason you're fine. Because Luke and Barrett would have been a great background because we know Luke would have had
it was pretty rough.
Luke would have had more insight than I had a while ago. I got to assure you, Luke would have been.
I tried to listen for a second, but the 106.9 signal is not very Buffalo Gap friendly.
It's
I don't know
working on it. We're real
Big
close.
trees or I don't know, but I turned it on but could not hear it.
But the good thing is you can always go to KLGD1069.com and listen to anywhere in the world. And so we had the Jim Ned, big Jim Ned. Josh has got the Jim Ned shirt on, homecoming. Did not graduate from there, but his property taxes are going there. His kids are. He has. Well, you could sing the song. He has 3 little Indians. You could sing it. Yeah. Misty could sing that song.
You're welcome.
She could count to all 3 of them. So, real quick before we get to Misty's bag, did you have to buy garters and mums?
No,
Not yet.
none of that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was laughing because I was talking to Bear off the air. I asked them the question that I usually ask our guests, what game day rituals, superstitions, all of that. And they kind of froze. And then off air, Bear said, well, I actually have too many to share. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, like one of them is I will not skip a song. So whatever he's listening to, whatever comes up. And I was like, okay, that's fair. I was like, you should have said that. He was like, there's just so many. So that was
He gave the right answer. The right answer is always just play.
Exactly. And don't worry about those kids.
All right, so I've got to take advantage of it, Josh, because we're going to talk football in the 8 o'clock hour. We're going to kick the 8 o'clock hour off with Misty's bag.
Okay,
We're still playing baseball.
we are.
And it's pretty exciting. And based on my little bit of research on the regular season, 3-3. Which we'll talk about tied later. I don't know if I sent y'all the screenshot of the game we'll be watching later on how tied it is. But so I feel pretty good. I feel like, and I know we just had a few days off because we swept. Do you feel like the benefit of continuing to play, even with this little bit of a break, helps?
I do think so. I think that especially the matchup against the Orioles, I believe, is a good matchup because the teams are very similar in a lot of ways. A lot of good young talent. The main difference is the Rangers have spent some money, whereas the Orioles have always refused to spend money. So the young talent is there for both teams. Simeon and Seager, the Orioles don't have anyone on their caliber really on that team. Rushman is moving into that space, but the Orioles starting pitching stuff is not that good. The Rangers seem to be kind of rebounded a little bit in that category with Montgomery's been good ever since he came over. Evaldi looked very good this week. His first time to look good since he came back from injury. And Dane Dunning, having kind of sputtered a bit there, seems to have picked it back up at the end of the year. So I think the matchups look good for the Rangers. And it could be one of those series that I do think they'll score some runs and it should be exciting.
The main difference in these two teams is the bullpens. The Orioles do have a much better bullpen, so how we end up doing in this series will probably hinge on what we do against their bullpen. And what we did against Tampa Bay was just basically eliminate the need for much bullpen. So
Right.
if we can continue that, I think we have a pretty solid shot.
So I've got a thought for Networks One. We thank you. We love Emily. She's awesome. The broadcast team for Valleys is awesome. The access to Valleys is terrible. So thank you for Rangers making playoff baseball because I can watch it. Number two, I said on the air, and maybe it was on the way. Do you really care who you play next? Because I said you probably wouldn't, because it just means that you've won a series and you're still playing. Are you going to care if it's the Astros or the Twins? Networks want the Astros and the Rangers.
Well, I would probably say that the networks would probably prefer it be Baltimore, just as far as like there is a solid East Coast bias in baseball. But as far as that goes, yes, they're like Houston has more. I mean, it's the bigger market, obviously, of the two of the Twins for sure, and the Twins probably don't draw like Houston does because Houston also adds a little bit
talking
of
more on the field.
Oh, on the field, I don't think you do care. I think if you're just looking at a pure baseball standpoint, you think you would have a better shot against the Twins than the Astros. But the Rangers didn't play well against either. Going their most recent series. So I don't think it matters. It would definitely be a culmination of that rivalry that has really gotten very heated recently. If those two teams were to face off in the,
especially since it's
American League Championship,
it's gotten
series.
heated over Twitter, and it's gotten heated over.
Oh, Twitter is hilarious.
Celebrating Jared Sadler, all those guys. So, but here's the thing: I do think baseball is getting it wrong. I know it'd have been a short day rest. I know it'd have been hard on folks. If it was me, if I was in charge of it, I would take Saturday and Sunday. Because I'm going to ask you this. I don't know how much baseball you watch anyway. Whether you're an Astro fan or Ranger fan, it doesn't matter. What is the percentage of you watching any baseball on Saturday with all the college football that's on? What is the percentage that you will watch? Even think to flip to a TV, not on the phone. You can watch all the football you want, check your phone like it's fantasy. How much baseball are you going to watch?
There's probably a 1% chance that I watch any baseball this weekend.
Now, Josh, at 12 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, I'll watch every bit, and whatever happens in football won't matter. I do find it really, it is bad as far as like the way that this so happens that you've got Maryland and Ohio State, two undefeated teams. Baltimore happens to be in Maryland, playing at 11, and then you've got Oklahoma versus Texas, which the following of the Rangers from the Oklahoma City area is huge. Obviously, Dallas is in Texas, so there's going to be a lot of conflicting interest as far as what you want to turn on the TV for a lot of people. So it's very, very interesting the way that fell. I, of course, have always said that the most wonderful time of the year is when the playoff push in baseball into the playoffs and football's going on at the same time, because baseball plays every day of the week. And when baseball season is over, that for me there's kind of now I got Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday.
You have to wait.
What am I going to do?
So there's not as much sports to kind of keep you going. But it really does. It's just like one of those things. And this weekend, you've got the Rangers on Saturday and Sunday. Baylor's playing Tech, which is one of my favorite games to look forward to, as far as college football. And then a huge Cowboys game. So I mean, it's one of those weekends.
This weekend is loaded.
Like there's just a lot of sports that I want to watch on TV. So much so that it's like, I mean, how am I going to fit in other
Well,
things?
and
How
here's
many TVs do I have? Can I get going?
and here's the deal, and this is why you go to Mulligan's. This is why you go
Yeah,
to Chelsea Live. This is why
absolutely.
you go to those places. So, but in this, the one sport, and I know we've got to go to the top of the hour when we get to Misty's back, but the one sport that figured it out, and I know some think it's because they don't have very many viewers, but the truth of it is they do. Golf has figured it out.
I knew he would say golf.
The FedEx Cup gets done before. There's no way Ryder Cup thought, you know what, let's move it into a little bit later. They got it over with. They knew when to do it. Last weekend there were some things, but it wasn't as jam-packed as what today and everything. Because, again, I mentioned it earlier. NHL's about to start. The NBA's about to start. You're about to have every sport known to man professionally going on right now. And so they figured it out. So one of the things that we're going to figure out is how good the Rangers are tomorrow as they head out to Baltimore. And I hope Piano Man has something sad to say, and that Josh, you may be right, which is another Billy Joel song, that you may be right, that the Texas Rangers will take care of business and win this next series. When we come back, we're going to move into the 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Coleman County Bank. Check out at ColemanBank.com. We're going to open up Misty's bag right after this. Misty, your taco is in hot sack. I separated it.
Don't put my taco in a sack.
Your taco's in a sack.
Sack is gross.
Sack is really a
Sack
gross
is
word.
a gross word.
That is a normal word. Like,
No, but
it's
it is a
not.
normal word that's very gross.
Sack. Like
Sack.
sack.
Because if you hear the word sack,
Moist. Sack.
Voice sack is very bad.
I didn't mean it as a phrase.
yeah,
But yes.
yeah. Timing of
No one wants that.
No. Well, I don't have one of those, so I don't know, but I'm assuming.
No.
Can you not?
No.
Yeah, moist sack. I don't have one. I don't want one. Look at us in our red, supporting those Indians.
The cool thing about the ball is we're going to be all in the same level.
Yes, I'm excited. It looks great. It's coming along good.
Do you have any paraphernalia sign-wise or anything that you would want to?
Maybe.
I've got a few golf flags that I could put up in there. Yeah.
I can ask Kyle. I wonder if they've got some extra stuff
I'm
that we
gonna ask Derek as well.
Yeah,
I'm about to say, there's not some first light sign.
that would be sweet. And we got to take the rock.
The Rock needs
The
to go.
rock
for
has
sure.
to go. I feel like people would stop in and take a picture with the rock. We need a cardboard cutout of us three stooges.
And the Rock.
And the
No, we never mind. Never mind. I will tell my thought off air.
oh, that's no fun.
Well, trust me, you're gonna want that to be out there.
Uh-oh.
All right. Mandy, thank y'all again. Podcast to be on, probably easier to hear the podcast. We're getting, we'll have hopefully better acoustics in a week. Did y'all check and confirm Greg's good for the 20th? So it'll be all three on the
Okay,
20th.
yeah, that's fine.
Up here should be back there. It's one of the longest vacation ever.
They look like they're retired. You know, they still have a job.
Yeah.
This selfie is super cute.
Yeah, they left last Friday morning.
Just to add, here, I'm going to send you the games.
Look, there has his tongue out. It's cute. What?
I'm going to send you the games.
The pickle? prop for the day.
So when you
So I will be utilizing my prop in that segment.
awesome. I just sent you that. Tag it with the kids and say, I don't know if you can pick out Hodge, but be sure you get your picks in before Josh does them. Send them to HodgePackSports.com.
Oh, like right now?
Yeah, post it now and say, hey, you still have time.
I don't know how that is. That's gonna be. Let me see. Sometimes when you do two, it doesn't.
You can choose, I think.
Yeah.
All right, we're coming back, Josh.
Good. I'm done eating.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack as we roll into the 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Coleman County State Bank. I always have to make sure. CCSB. Who are you rooting for?
That's John Phonics works for me. Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Not for them.
Not for Hodge.
So last night, they got this corporate Olympics going on. And so we were there, played golf in Mulligan's, which is beneficial. It's the
Absolutely.
Misty's Bag brought to you by Mulligan's Sports Bar and Grill. So we were there, and I had a lot of fun playing that course. Haven't played in a while. It was fun. But in it, they had their flags. And
Yeah,
so
like opening ceremony.
they wanted everybody's flag to be raised. And so we had a kid that works for us doing the co-op flag. And then there was a lot of cattle. I was like, I can do that. We got the Hodge Pack. And so I was waving the lot of landing cattle and promoting the heck out of a lot of landing cattle as well as the Hodge Pack, which you can get this weekend. So, but anyway, so it's a lot of fun. Kyle did a great job running the tournament and all of his weight staff and all that. So appreciate Kyle always giving back some form or fashion, whether it's hosting events for benefit for folks or his golf course last night. So I appreciate Kyle doing that and Sam and good stuff. So it is time for your bag, Misty.
Okay, this question actually comes from one of my coworkers, Ron. He is a super huge sports fan, and we talk sports a lot. And so we had a conversation yesterday, and I was like, hey, I need some questions. Like, give me, what do you got? So he hooked me up with some questions, and so this comes from Ron. So here's the question. In your opinion, what's the worst display of sportsmanship you have ever seen?
Well, some people will say Joe LaCava last week on the 18th green. I don't think that's the worst. One of them, and ironically, I guess because it's Dallas Cowboy week, people were doing different trivias, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on about week 4 as we get ready for week 5 and the Cowboys and 49ers. What T.O. did was pretty crazy on the star, and George T, decleated him for a moment. Baker Mayfield playing with the general area that you should not toward the Kansas team, and
Yeah, that was a good one.
and then stabbing the flag in the middle of the deal of the center, the midfield, or whatever on the logo. I believe it's Ohio State. Maybe I don't remember.
I mean, there's so many. This question is interesting because there are so many.
Well,
but picking one, like in your opinion, is the worst disrespect.
I think the thing is we're starting to see maybe more of it. Of course, the biggest thing right now, one of the biggest disrespects you can see now is you can tweet it out what you're thinking, but eventually they're going to find you. Josh, I don't know what your thoughts.
No, that's one of those things that.
Are you thinking of an incidents or what? Like an incident like T.O. in the middle?
Yeah,
are you
like
saying?
Yeah.
Well, the T.O. one was the first thing that popped into my mind, but then that's even become cliche, because Colorado did that to Oregon, and Oregon stomped them. Like wouldn't go out in the middle of the field and stomp on a logo, which I always find that's supposed to be a disrespectful thing funny, because then you later play football on it and everybody runs on it. It's not. It's not like you. Like,
it's not like you took a whiz on somebody's grave.
Walked over and like trampled the flowers or something.
Right.
And I mean, like the Pistons walking off the court, whenever there was still time on the clock. Ron Artest going crazy. I mean, like all of these different. I guess I'm thinking of a moment in time when something that you're just like, I cannot believe he did that, or she, or whoever.
The Jose Batista bat flip in the 16 playoffs versus Toronto. that was one of that moment that like incensed a lot of people, and it led to him getting punched in the face. So
And one of the most famous T-shirts ever.
yes, yeah. So that's one. Alex Bregman and his champagne popping comment that he made when the Astros won the watch, lost the ability to speak.
It's okay. It happens to Hodge every week.
Yeah, when they won the division this year, beating the Rangers, I don't. Did y'all see that? There's video of the locker room as they won the division, basically because Arizona just gave up. I mean, it was really kind of a sad state of sportsmanship. I don't know. Generally, the idea, one of the unspoken rules in baseball is that you honor the pennant chase. You honor that by trying to, even if you're eliminated or whatever, you try to put up a fight at the end of the year, not just be a rollover. Arizona got their ticket punched to be in the playoffs this year, and then once that happened, quite literally ran out like a AAA lineup against the Astros, which the Rangers still should have taken care of business, but they did not attempt to win that game on Sunday. I don't know if y'all saw all that. A little bit of controversy in that, that it was a blatant give-up game, which the Astros won, and then they win the division. When they go to pop the champagne, Alex Bregman says, people are asking what it was going to be like that this year if we didn't win the division, and it's like, guess we'll never find out. Just and I hate that guy anyway. So
and I think trash talking in that, again, it's like even John Rahm. I know I go back to golf a lot, but John Rahm talked about that, how the fans in Europe, have fun with it, but there's a line that you don't cross. I looked up worst sportsmanship things in history, and it gave 6. And one of the top, and I don't know if you would count this, sportsmanship they threw out Lance Armstrong. To me, that's just cheating the game.
Well,
It's not.
cheated.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not necessarily a disrespectful. And we talk about homecoming. A lot of times, rivals would go mess up bonfires or burn a logo in the turf.
I mean, Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah.
Something like
that's
that.
probably going to be the top
Are
or one of the top.
literally Mike Tyson bites an ear off. I mean, I don't know.
So what are you going to say?
I think I would probably have to say Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. I mean, she literally took her out so she could not perform. And also, Mike Tyson biting, Holyfield's ear off. I don't know that you can trump the ear. That is on another level.
Yeah.
Right, that is, right?
I mean, to me, those are I didn't even think about T.O., honestly, which is kind of crazy because I'm such a big sports Cowboys fan. But that never crossed my mind. I went straight to Mike Tyson and to Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding.
Well, and I think, of course, it's easy because it's 49ers Cowboy week. But I think because that takes a lot of thought. I think you wonder if T.O. had that in mind. Hey, if I score today, I'm going to the Star.
Oh, I bet he did.
You don't just think, what am I going to do? Because I would think most celebrations, even the defensive guys, when they have that interception, they say, come on, let's all go to that camera at the end zone. They all go, and they know what they're going to do, whether it's bowling or did you see the dude that for Chicago is great, Commit, or however you say the tight end's name? He scores a touchdown, and there's this one reporter, lines up, throws it. Commit acts like he hits a baseball. Then another guy goes up and robs it from acts like he's trying to rob the home run. Great celebration. But sportsmanship, I just think one of the things I think that's terrible, and I'll take time to talk about, I don't think it's the worst as far as the TO, the carrying to the pipe to the knee or whatever. But it wears me out when defensive backs do I just stopped them when they had nothing to do with the play. It was overthrown by a mile or they're losing 60-0. It's probably should have looked at the scoreboard before you celebrated. I mean, do you think?
Well, I feel the same way when a receiver, or running back gets a first down and you're down by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. They get up and do the first down sign. It's yeah.
And did y'all see did y'all see that ref that pulled the helmet off of that high school player? That's been a hot topic. So
that's a winner.
So I mean, it could even be an official.
He got suspended.
Yeah, as he should. For how long did you see?
I did not see. I'm saying
I'm
it's a
surprised
while.
it wasn't indefinitely. But
Oh,
yeah,
it's going to be a bit.
it should be indefinitely.
I'm glad you brought that up. I would vote for that.
But yeah, I mean that's something recent that just happened.
I mean,
so
rip the dude's
That's
head
funny
off.
because all that stuff, I do think that y'all,
I mean, that
y'all
was
have
in
better
Texas.
ideas than me. I was thinking just like taunting, you know, like as far as not being sports, but not necessarily cheating, you know, like
The taunting does wear me out, and I'll be honest with you, it's just like anything else. A lot of this stuff is getting younger. The turd is
Oh, yeah.
becoming younger.
well,
And
another
it's a
one
problem.
about like that happened multiple times, like Dominican Sue kicking people, you know,
And
like
all sorts of body parts.
stomping on people as he got up off the ground. You know, it seemed to be a repeating trend. You know, so that like that type of stuff.
And how many UFC fighters, you know, they face off and somebody takes a swing. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and I just the taunting thing, Josh, you bring it up. You start seeing some of I say the turd or whatever you call it, it's getting younger, is because I think they see it and it gets allowed. And trash talking, there's a level of trash talking that's respectful
Yeah.
and understanding. Like, I mean, obviously all of us joke in a way, but then if you don't know the people, you can't do that. I mean, you got to know the crowd that you're in. You got to know who you're playing. Now, I'm not saying there's not times where, hey, if I'm playing somebody, if I can get under their skin, that it's beneficial for me. That's different because I just know that person's not mentally strong. He's not like the gym ed kids are talking about. Hey, we're not going to let that bother us. So you've got to find a way to. And again, I'm reading the Marty Smith book. And again, congratulations, Sean Martin, for winning the copy. We're getting it to you. But you just got to find that level. And so it's fun watching teams that are good sportsmen. It's good to watch coaches that have teams that are respectful. You know, I'll be honest with you, I'm shocked that Colorado did that. I have a hard time thinking Dion said to go do that. I'm curious if Dion said, hey, we're not going to do those sorts of things. I'd love to know the outcome of what that happened.
I bet he told them that it wouldn't happen again. I mean,
Right.
just because it backfired big time.
Right.
Made them look bad, you know, for doing it, and then did not put up, you know, when they
shut up.
They
Yeah.
poked the bear,
Yeah.
and it didn't
And
work.
the duck just
Yeah,
Affleck.
they'll mess around and find out. and
Bad.
then
Yeah,
they found
exactly.
out.
Yeah, the duck act like them. And so speaking of act like them, we're going to talk about college football when we come back right after this. Actually, that's nothing to do with the act like.
You know, it's funny with Collins softball league. There are girls that will come off third base and you know they'll clap. And man, depending on who the umpire is, out, straight out, it's an out. Go back to like they're really kind of coming down on some of those leagues of that like same thing like the taunting, getting under their skin.
They're in basketball, they want you to tee that up.
Which I like it though. Because I'm
For
like,
whatever
yeah,
reason, in softball, there is
But-
more stupidity than maybe any
it
other
really
sport.
is. No,
The
it's
chance will wear you out.
Yeah.
Oh, the chance. Oh yeah, and like screaming when the pitcher's pitching.
Yes.
Like our
Uh,
team does that, but
I've
so many teams
Definitely
do that.
been the game that guys like every time there's the pitcher
I'm like,
goes in the wide, I'm like,
Yes,
yeah,
same
like,
thing.
what? Earth?
And sometimes it works because they'll walk, you know, or whatever. But yeah, they're coming off third base and like, you know, clapping down the baseline. That happened at our last Cavalier tournament, and the ump was like, "See ya." So, I mean, not like ejection, but like you're out. You can go back to the dugout. But some, depending on where you play, they'll let them. You know, it just kind of depends on where we're at. But here, they usually don't tolerate that.
I mean, literally, the top 9 are undefeated. Oklahoma can't get any respect. North Carolina, huh?
They will after they beat Texas.
Do you need my picks or does it
I
matter?
was supposed to.
I don't know if you're gonna take a picture of that.
I'll just put them in the old phone.
What am I looking at? What was that? Oh, never mind.
This week is a rough one. It's tough.
You could have had 100 games to pick.
I know, yeah.
Come on, give me enough time to look at this Tez Walker thing. Oh, that'll be our shot of the week. Our Restore Wellness shot of the week is Tez Walker, eligible to play.
It's already 8:20. I don't think we're gonna have time. I didn't post these pics yet because it's like chopping it off.
Nobody wants that.
No, I'm just gonna post the Jeanette.
Mike's been breaking up clips on YouTube, and he had one that had over 1,000 views of just random clips of the show on YouTube. To go back,
Oh, really? I don't know are there any new one-liners or the ones that you sent us a while back?
they're supposed to be implemented, but I don't know.
Because, we need like a montage of our one-liners.
I haven't decided who I'm picking up in the Cowboys 49ers game. I can't decide.
No, sir.
Like, a lot of people are picking the 49ers, you know, like, I don't know. I don't know.
That's going to be a
How are you?
game decision. Hey, how are you?
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good, man.
Getting all right?
Oh, yeah. Josh, sir. Nice to meet you. Yes, sir.
Hi, and I'm Misty.
Josh,
Nice to meet you. Which we're doing, you said college?
Yes.
Okay. So then, okay.
Whoop, good catch. Slid a little ball. Man, the Bears just got all over me.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports life, and everything in between. As you hear a little Marty Stewart coming back from commercial. Don't forget you can get your tickets. Marty Stewart this Sunday night at 7:30. ParamountAbilene.com. Get your tickets and be ready to burn it down. And hopefully, unfortunately, the Ryder Cup, like Pro Shop or something, got burned down. Not good. But hopefully the only thing that's going to be burned down this week is the 49ers, and we'll talk about that later. But it's time for college football. A lot of slipways. Yeah, there you go.
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, true story. Don't have any idea. But it is time for some college football talk, and that's what we are going to talk about with us right now. Big weekend, Josh. You talked as you were getting ready picks to send out. A lot of stuff to talk about. But first, what I want to talk about is our Restore Wellness Center B12 shot. Not B12 shot. Pick them up of the week. Pick up of the week. You need low T. If any of those things are struggling with you, maybe you need a little pick-me-up in your life.
You need something.
That is true.
I don't
Can
know
we
what.
get one right now?
Head over to Restore Wellness.
In
Do they do
studio.
it?
Yes, they will get you taken care of. But I want to make this comment. University of North Carolina wide receiver Tez Walker is now eligible.
You said he wasn't a few weeks ago.
He wasn't, and it should have been. And it shouldn't have been. And the NCAA is trying to blame North Carolina. No NCAA. He sat out. He went. He did all the things right, and you were not letting him play. And I'm glad you finally did. And North Carolina is one of those undefeated teams that I don't know how good they are yet. I don't know how good some of these are. We've got a number of undefeated teams. I told you a while ago, the top 10, the top 9 are all undefeated. We've got some of them playing each other this week. Texas OU, Maryland, you mentioned, playing Ohio State. Kentucky and Georgia. I think we saw Auburn give Georgia all they want. Bowers may be the best player in college football, but because he does not play quarterback, he has no chance at the Heisman just because that's the way it works. It's the quarterback Heisman Award, and every once in a while we go running back and receiver. So this weekend, let's go back to last week. You mentioned earlier in the stomping of the duck, or the Big O, USC comes to town and jumps out on the Buffaloes, and then Colorado finds a way to get back in it and has a chance at the end and just comes up short. To me, I know moral victories do not go in the win column. There's not wins, losses, ties, and one for moral. But Dion's got to feel pretty good about last week. Your thoughts?
So I actually kind of have to eat my words a little bit because last
Yeah,
week,
you do.
I'll admit it, I'll own this. I really thought it was going to be a repeat of the Oregon game. I thought that USC was going to handle Colorado, and I was wrong. So I can admit when I was wrong. I am shocked that it was, I believe, within 7 points. And so kudos to Dion and Colorado for hanging in. Obviously, USC had some, bad plays that allowed them to kind of get back into the game towards the end. But yeah, I will eat my words and say that I did not see that coming. And if I'm Dion, I'm feeling pretty dang good after I got my teeth knocked in the week before.
I agree. I didn't expect it to be much of a game, but and you're right, Hodge. There's no moral victory on the scoreboard. I mean, there's not a column over there in your record that says, yeah, but they played a pretty good game against that team. I mean, it's a win and a loss, but you can build off of losses, which I think is one of those things that teams really can learn where they're at, especially after getting stomped like they did against Oregon, to be able to come back and at least put up a fight. Like have not just roll over. Again, like when it looked like they might at the first of that game. So I think that shows that the coaching staff has got a plan and they're working through it.
And I think this week is important because now you go play somebody that they're going to expect you to beat. It's on the road, but you go play Arizona State, who's 1-4. So that's one of those, you mentioned it. Hey, do we build off of it?
Mm-hmm.
Because we didn't expect him to win the first games that he did win. But now that he's won now that he's lost to a couple of good teams, battled back with USC, now this is one, in my opinion, sounds weird. To me, it's a must-win for Dion and the Buffaloes.
Oh, absolutely. Which, how are y'all feeling? We talked about the hype over the last few weeks. Are y'all still excited about the hype, what Dion's doing? Are you kind of over it? Where are you at on that?
I'm just now watching football. I'm not so much. Now I'm going to watch. If Dion's on, I'm going to see what the Buffaloes do. Shadur, see how he can do without Travis Hunter. So I'm still going to watch it. But the good thing that's helped out Dion is the Swifties. Because I think now the topic has gone away from Dion being number one to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
I'd rather talk about Dion.
100%.
Gosh.
So let's talk about this coming weekend. We've got some picks. But Josh, tomorrow is the last Big 12 matchup. I'm assuming they're going to find a way, Texas and OU, to play after this. I don't see the State Fair, because I guarantee it's somebody that's on that State Fair board. We ain't losing money this weekend just because y'all are going.
Well,
to
they
the
are
SEC.
both going to the same conference, so
Right. And they've got. You would think they'd be in the
schedule.
same somehow.
Yeah, and I haven't
Surely.
seen that as far as like how they're doing the East and West with the balance of teams being in the West part of the SEC. But we'll figure that out.
And we've got to pick them. But so who has been your surprise? And to me, every year I say it, and I'm going to go back to the rankings. We still have a chance. We still have a chance. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Please let it happen. We still have at least five teams of all five of the power conferences undefeated. So, and I don't want Texas to win it. I don't want OU, but I would sacrifice that for them to win the Big 12. If all five teams could please be undefeated. I don't care if it's Georgia, Michigan, Texas, Florida State, and Washington. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please, all five of y'all go undefeated. Because I want the NCAA, I want the college football people to have to say, you know what? Barrett, Molly, Luke, we've got 2 seats tonight. Sorry, you do not get to go. My prayer has always been, this is the last year for it to happen. So, Lord, please let all 5 conferences be undefeated. We still have a chance. So, who's been your surprise? Sorry, I had to throw that out into
He
the.
just took us to
I
church.
know,
Yeah, I did.
Feeling a little
bit of-
rejuvenated. Might become a B12.
Head over to Store Wellness House. But who has
along
surprised?
with your rant there? That would be an interesting situation because someone obviously would get left out. I don't think that I don't think that it would be seen in any way, shape, or form between like picking from your children, because they have no problem with making sure that. I mean, they might put another SEC team in there just that had one loss. So so I wouldn't be surprised at all to see an undefeated team stay home. But that's. I mean, it's actually in the rules that the Big 12. The Big 10 has to have a team in, and the SEC has to have two. So
Oregon and Washington and the Pac-12, they're gonna break this up. But Georgia's got Kentucky this weekend. I'll tell you my picks a little bit later. So Pitt and Michigan and all them, they're gonna have to play each other some form. Oregon, Washington, USC, they're gonna have to play each other some form or fashion. But does not mean they still can't be undefeated. And somebody could be undefeated right now. It's all still in the motion to happen. And you don't know how bad I want that to happen.
Oh, I do. I'm feeling all of the vibrations and everything.
But do you think this year, Georgia's still good, but they had a battle. And again, Kirby Smart said on the road, anytime you went on the road at SEC, it's tough to do. It's a big accomplishment. Do you feel like, because this year I think maybe one of the hardest we have on deciding on four. Who do you think, is there anybody that's surprising you right now that is still undefeated that you thought would be, or thought that would not be? I'll go first. Let y'all look that up, because I know I didn't put that in your notes. It's kind of a last minute thing here. North Carolina, not so much, because they haven't really played anybody that surprised me yet, even though I love Coach Mack Brown. I really say Florida State's not even that big of a shock.
Well, they beat LSU, so I'm not.
Florida State's probably the one, and that they got out of Death Valley and Clemson with a win.
Well, Missouri being undefeated is the most off the wall, but it's not that they've done anything, but they forced their way into the top 25 when they generally were not thought of as a team that was even any good.
And Kentucky beating, again, I'm telling you, this Kentucky-Georgia game tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun. That's where SEC Nation's going to be tomorrow. Marty Smith will be there. Again, by the book, sideline CEO. Is there anybody that's surprising you, Misty?
I think Florida State's up there, and Washington for me. I think Washington's probably my biggest surprise.
And they're the Mike Trout. They are the Shohei Ohtani. They're on the West Coast. There are some, if you watch some of the national broadcasts, that think that Washington may be the toughest team in the best team in the country. So Florida State's taking care of Clemson. Miami may be a struggle because they're still undefeated as well. So they've got a chance to win the ACC. Washington and USC, I think one of them are probably going to end up being undefeated. Michigan has a chance to run the table. Georgia. And if Texas wins tomorrow, do you see anybody beating Texas outside of OU in the Big 12 without it being some random, terrible upset?
No, I don't.
I don't.
Think just a random upset.
I don't see anybody beating Texas.
Yeah, I think that's right.
No, I agree with that. I think that Texas-Oklahoma game is a very interesting matchup, because even though Texas is favored, I don't necessarily know if that's the way I would go with that one. But yes, the winner of that game does seem to have a solid opportunity at staying undefeated. But the problem is, and this is how this always happens. If you have those teams that have kind of run the table for a while, and then you get to that end of the year and they have a slip up that then costs them a playoff opportunity or pre-playoffs, a bowl opportunity, that because they lost at the end of the year, and so that's one of those things that.
Because I'm looking at Texas' schedule. They play OU tomorrow. Then they're going to go to Houston, which that should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
They get BYU at home, so they don't have to go up to Provo. They get K-State at home, and then they go to Fort Worth, and then they go to Iowa State and Texas at home. Tech maybe, because they're, maybe one that might be able to pull off an upset, but I don't see it there. And so
I think they're pretty wide open to do so. It's just, but at the same time, I would not be surprised if they were undefeated and went and played Tech and Tech beat them. Because that's the type of thing that happens, that derails those teams.
I just think it is a great time to be a sports fan, and it's a great weekend to be an overall sports fan, because there's so much to watch. When we come back, we're going to recap Week 4. The Dallas Cowboys give Bill Belichick the biggest beatdown of all time. The defense is still rocking, and we'll get ready for our you didn't know celebrity guest speaker, Coach Josh Lee, one of the top 100 athletes of all time. Getting a little Pat McAfee of all time at McMurray will be our guest speaker. We'll be back right after. All time.
Of all time.
I'm gonna throw Del Dobie on the bus too. All right.
He seemed pretty definitive about it, so he's
Yeah.
pretty confident.
It is a true story. He is. You can't deny it. It's already in the record book.
I was trying to come in the wrong door. I was about to text you. They put the code into the first one, not the second one.
Oh yeah.
I was like, and it kept buzzing at me, and I was like,
Yeah, that east door is always one of these lists that they've got online is easy to read, and that is not it. Make sure what we got here. Yeah, boom, and then we'll do picks. We'll probably cut that one a little short, this next segment short, and then roll into the picks. Yeah, that's what we'll do.
What's next?
We're going to recap week 4.
What are we doing next?
We're recapping week 4 of the Cowboys in the NFL.
Okay.
You
So
got
I
me-
don't
you-
need that prop
You did
yet.
catch me off guard with who I thought was the biggest surprise, and then I was like trying to look through
Me
stuff,
too.
and then I was like
Don't do
kind
that.
of off because I didn't have time to think about that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Broncos are undefeated too. I just saw that. I was
Yeah.
like, they don't have a chance. Because when you said that, I was like, I didn't realize
there we
that
go.
being undefeated
It,
too.
it really is kind of crazy.
Which
but
I'm like,
There's
look at
a
the
ton.
competition of what a lot of those teams have
I think I
played.
was looking at it and I was like, Kentucky. And then I looked at who they played so far.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I think they will just
See,
roll.
that's why I'm like, yeah, they may be undefeated, but let's look who they're playing.
Well, their Florida win was a
Their
quality
Florida
win.
was huge. Yeah.
The conference play is about to bring a lot of losses.
Yes.
So
Well,
here
then-
it comes.
And then Missouri's undefeated, but they really haven't played anybody. And the one, I can't remember who it was that they played, but the one kind of decent team they played that they beat,
Oh,
they
sorry.
beat on like a 60-yard field goal right as time was expiring.
Yeah.
So it was like an incredible win, but it's still like you're not going to.
That's why that list doesn't really impress me because I'm
Yeah.
like, you played nobodies. Like, let's talk about conference. So there's always more competition in the SEC. I'm just like, but we'll see.
SEC will be the best.
Oh yeah,
A caller just came in and just said telemarketer. How do they know that?
I love that. Or it'll be like spam risk. I'm like, bye. That's like the best thing ever.
Telemarketer. Well, but the other day I had one that came in and said spam risk, and it was like,
Legitimate.
yeah, well, yeah, it was
Oh.
somebody that called from our
Hang on.
team's
30
phone
second
call.
timeout.
No,
Uh-oh.
On the superlatives,
Oh yeah.
do you want, and so we're going to recap the Cowboys. We'll do maybe kind of what we used to, what shocked you, surprised you the weekend. And then you do the MVP.
MVP.
Like, who do you think would, if you had to give an MVP vote, who would win in today? The report of the season.
Okay.
Which one of the other ones you want?
What are my choices? Defensive player of the year?
Defensive.
I'll take that.
I think that's easy. It's
Easy.
Michael Parsons.
Yeah.
Why did you
Offense.
give me that one? Just kidding.
Because he can win both.
Yeah.
I don't know who the offensive one is.
Bro, McCaffrey.
Obvious.
Oh, that's a
Do you
good
even
one.
watch football?
He did win the fantasy football game last week. And then coach of the year. Is there one?
I mean, I'm gonna go with Todd Bowles. I mean,
Oh, that's
who
good.
would
That's
have
good.
known
You got
that
that.
you got Baker Mayfield as your quarterback?
Yeah.
That's your. You got that.
So you can take MVP. I'll talk about Todd Bowles.
Okay.
Like you're 3-1, and
All right, here we go.
yeah.
And we are back. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack Sports Life and everything in between us. We've got time to do some recap. We're a quarter of a way through the NFL season. Again, a lot of stuff going on. College football, don't forget, Alabama A&M will be picking it a little bit later, but Alabama is heading to College Station as they will be taking on the Aggies tomorrow, so you can listen to that right here on 106.9 The Country Giant. Josh, Misty, again, thank y'all for being here. Don't forget to check out HodgePackSports.com. Check that out where all our stuff is. Check it all out. Week 4, the Cowboys bounce back and give Bill Belichick his worst loss as an NFL coach, 38-3, and it really wasn't even that close. Just give me your thoughts of the recap of Week 4. Zeke comes to town, gets a little teary-eyed, gets a little hug from Dak. They do a video for him. He probably wanted to try out for center. That's what he played last at the Cowboys. Josh, we'll go ladies first. Misty, what was your recap of last week?
I mean, so obviously, Dallas D is unmatched. I mean, we know this. When they play and they show up, they beat teams like they beat Bill Belichick. And so I was not surprised to have a bounce back after how they played terribly the week before. Disappointed to see that Dak can just not – I don't know what is happening to him in the red zone. And that is a concern for me as we move further into the season. But obviously, Dallas D keeping us alive. I mean, Dak looked better to me in some regard. But if we can't capitalize on in the red zone, we're not going to go very far. Because, I mean, our D is great, but it can only take us so far. Dak has got to step it up.
I agree with that completely. As far as the takeaway, I don't know what Hodge is mouthing to me. So
I mean, the best D in football, that's what he's mouthing.
Okay.
Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, well, I couldn't see. When you try to talk to someone through mouthing, but there's a microphone in your way, it doesn't really work. So
that's how you keep stuff to yourself.
Make a mental.
Or maybe he didn't want me to say that. I don't really know.
I don't know, but yes, the general bounce back was what I wanted to see. We talked about that last week going into the game that they had to shake off that Cardinals loss, and they did so. They looked good. They beat a not good team, but they beat them the way that you should. Got the quarterback benched. The whole 9 yards. So it was an all around good effort.
My biggest and you say Dak, and I feel like I know Greg's co-hosted a couple of times, and Greg's going to be here on October 20th, co-hosting with you guys. But I think you're starting to drift that really.
Is he rubbing off on me?
I'm not a fan of Dak.
I just want him to capitalize.
There's plenty of them.
I just want him to capitalize in the red zone. What's wrong with that?
But I don't,
You're a franchise quarterback.
But I
Let's
don't
go.
think that. I think part of that is him. But part of that is McCarthy. We're going to talk about this a little bit later when we do our picks. Who has the most pressure this weekend? Is it Dak? Is it McCarthy? Is it the defense? We'll talk about that. Here's where I agree with you a little bit, but I think some of it is you just got to find a way to be more creative. The fact that CeeDee Lamb got his first touchdown of the season last week is a problem. Not because he's on my fantasy football team, because he's not. The red zone part is, yes, throw it up to him, let him go get it. We've got so many targets to the tight end, but I don't know. And maybe part of that is Dak. He checks down and doesn't trust, or is it designed to go to a tight end? I don't know. But I'm like you. I agree that I like that there's a beatdown. I like that the defense played well. I am a little worried that there was not any the good thing is we got a really great kicker right now.
Yeah, shout out to Aubrey.
And so, anyway, a lot of fun. All right, real quick, we want to do our superlatives because I want to have time for picks and Coach Lee. So, quarter way through, Josh, who is the defensive player of the year? Is it pretty easy?
Well, yeah, it's the easiest question you could ask, which I need easy questions because I'll fail otherwise. But it's Michael Parsons, who's defensive player of the month for the first month of the season. Rolled into rolling into October, looking good. He's one of those people that it's not even just the stats on the page because he has 4 sacks already, which is a good number. But he has several kind of, I would call them forced sacks. Where he makes the defense adjust or come to him or forces the quarterback to go the other way, then someone else picks up the sack. And so as we've all known and talked about and loved watching him play, he's truly the guy that makes the defense run, that makes the offense have to account for where he's at and what he's doing every single time. And so sometimes when you're that guy, just being there makes the other people better because if they're going to swing his way to try to block him or set up to try to go away from him, other people have the ability to step up, and it's kind of shown. I mean, it's Van Der Esch has kind of had a rebound of a season, so to speak. I mean, he's looking more like what we thought he was a few years ago. Mainly, he's not hurt, knock on wood, but I think a lot of that is also that pressure being off of him having to be the playmaker and just making the plays that he's capable of making. So it's made the whole better. And he is the motor
for the defense.
And the best in football, in my opinion.
And having to probably help make up for no Trayvon Diggs. I'm going to answer both of the next one, which is the Offensive Player of the Year and the MVP. I think to be the same person in Christian McCaffrey. I think it could be him. You mentioned him earlier. But I also think another guy, and I'm going to help you out on this and give you some love, Misty. I think, and I said this earlier in the week, just talking to people, I think the Jets ticked off the Bills. Josh Allen, over the last couple of weeks, has played like, if you had to give an MVP, I would give it to him. I'm going to let you do Coach of the Year, and then we're going to go to break and come back for picks. Give me that Coach of the Year that I think is a really good thought.
I think that, whenever I was thinking about this, I think I've got to give it to Todd Bowles right now with the Bucks. I mean, who would have thought that they are leading the NFC South with Baker Mayfield as their quarterback? I never saw that coming. Baker is a train wreck, but he's looking good. They're winning. They're finding a way. And so I've got to give this vote to Todd Bowles.
I think that's a great thought, a great choice. Todd Bowles, again. And with Derek Carr getting hurt, not playing well, that division is now wide open. And I think they have a very good chance to win. When we come back, we'll have our Oh You Didn't Know Celebrity Guest Picker. We'll talk to McMurray, and we'll do some picks right after this. All right, we got 2.5 minutes. That'll be perfect.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I was thinking buckle my shoe.
Oh, that's cool. I don't have buckles on my shoe.
Oh, man. Don't want to see the prop that I brought for picks?
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
Can you hide it, or are we about to?
Oh my gosh! I thought I left it, but it's in there. I thought I left it, but it's in there.
Oh, it's not dirty. The way you act like, oh gosh, I've got a bra.
No.
We still have viewers. You can see it.
No.
All right, Coach. You and Misty will share.
We'll stand for this segment.
Let me get back to McMurray. Festivities all weekend. So, did the top 100 athletes, like, there's, I don't know, however many here, and then a total of 100 athletes? Or how did they do that?
It's just 100, just this 100 year.
Okay.
So they do the top athletes period per sport.
Okay.
Yeah, so they didn't do top 100 athletes. Like, yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because it would be some communication, trying to figure it out.
That would be hard.
Yeah.
And this is your second year?
Yes, that's what yeah.
My phone was like on this day in 2018.
Oh my gosh. I love when it makes little videos like
Yeah.
that. So cute.
What?
It's like when
My phone said on this day in
it
2018.
like makes little vids. Yeah.
That was right after the twins were born, and I weighed 20 pounds less. I stopped there born, never went back to the gym.
It's all right. It's okay.
The city.
I don't have any kids. I just stopped working out a long time ago.
I have a 15-year-old now
Aww.
and a senior in high school.
Oh.
So we're starting over.
Oh man. My son graduated last year. He's a freshman at Angel State, but I have a 10-year-old, so not quite as far, but it was still starting over. Which I get to see Ethan. He's coming home. First weekend since college.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm so excited to see him.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack. Appreciate the Pest Patrol folks. Pest Patrol phone line 673-6700. Give them a call. Text that number if you have pests bothering you. Weldon, Debbie, and all their team will get that.
Take care of all pests? Or?
Yes, every one of them. Don't call me a pest.
No.
I was like,
Oh.
can we send you?
You put it on a team.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. But now it is time for our Oh You Didn't Know Celebrity Guest Picker. Joining us this morning, McMurray head baseball coach in his second year and one of the top athletes He can't deny it because it's in print. I'm reading it right now. Josh Lee, class of '05, and now leading not the tribe anymore, but leading the nest, if you will. Appreciate you being here this morning.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys having me.
So, Coach, you take over your alma mater. You a big weekend. Not only is it the 100 weekend, but Hardin Simmons is coming to town. A lot of questions, very similar to what used to be Texas and A&M stopping. We got conference changes happening next year. So, talk a little bit about what this weekend means to McMurray, and you get to be a part of it, not only as big time athlete, but coach and just alum and everything.
Well, I think in general, it's going to be super exciting to get everybody back. A lot of alumni that have contributed so much to the university on the sports fields specifically. And the fact that it's McMurray Hardin Simmons football game also plays a factor. Potentially, one of the last times that we could potentially be having this football game. I don't know with the new conference shifts and everything along those lines. But I'll be honest, to have our alumni back to see what the growth looks like at the university and see what positive direction we're moving is super exciting. And I've been preaching to my guys all week, and for the time this date's been on the calendar, not for me individually, but for them to get to know some of the guys that has laid the path.
Well, and it doesn't matter what school you're at. If you're an athlete and you played on a team, they all talk about, even Coach McGuire bringing in former Tech football players and McCaslin doing that for basketball. And you see taking some pride in it, whether it's Coach Malone right down the road or Marcus that grew up and played at McMurray. Just having those people come back is an important deal to say, hey, take a little bit of pride, whether it's the guys that were Indians or the McMurray baseball team that didn't have a mascot or Warhawks, taking pride about being a part of that 100 years.
No, it's no question. I mean, it's bigger than us, the current players. So many people have been here before us, and it's such a great honor to be able to step on the field and to represent that, to show them that, hey, look, what we're doing today is building off of the path that you created in 1996 for us as a baseball team. And so that's such a great time for us. Our athletes are young, so some of these guys, they'll never met some of these guys. There'll be names and faces on the board, and they'll get be able to shake hands and communicate with them, which is going to be really fun.
Well, the cool thing about McMurray baseball, it was one of the first nice facilities when the baseball field got built. I mean, there's nice facilities already there, but it was one of the newer, brand new things, and so being able to play on that every night has got to be a good thing. But now, Coach, it's the hard part. It's time to see if you can be smarter than a fifth grader. Because right now we only have one. Talon Cobb is still the only one smarter than a fifth grader. It's time for our picks. And so be sure to check it out. There's a lot of festivities. Look it up online. Go catch the Hardin Simmons McMurray game, and a lot of it always fun and exciting when rivalries get together. This is not much of a rivalry. First pick, we're heading up to Plainview. I'll be going there tonight to call the game. We got some shades. She's got her Dion shades on.
You're welcome. I thought this might help me this week if I put my prime shades on.
You do need some swag.
Yes.
We're going to work on that. All right, Wiley, Plainview. Josh, who do you and Molly have?
Wiley.
All right, y'all have Wiley, Misty?
I mean, with these purple shades, it's Wiley.
I agree, Wiley.
All right, I got Wiley going on. I think a chance to get 1-0 in district. All right, we got to head down to Dallas, UT, and OU. This is one of those, maybe, I don't know if it'll be the last time, but a lot of riding on this. Probably real good chance the loser still will play the winner in the Big 12 championship. Who do y'all have?
We both have Oklahoma. I think that it's not necessarily a trap game. I mean, because they're both good, and Texas isn't going to be letting up. But I feel like Oklahoma's doing some things, and probably are on the track to win the Big 12 after they win this game.
I'm going to shout out Bree and Sam. They're golfing right now, and this pick is for them. I'm going with UT.
I got to go with UT. I think they got it rolling this year.
I wanted to pick OU because I like Coach Venables because he did come from Clemson. I would like to see Oklahoma win, but because I want to catch back up and I forgot my shades, I think Texas is going to be good enough and Texas is going to win this thing. So I got Texas. Mizzou and LSU. Mizzou's undefeated. LSU is not. Misty, who do you have?
I'm going with LSU on this one. This was a tough one for me, but I'm going LSU.
Josh?
We both have LSU also. Molly and I actually have picked every every game the same except for the one I haven't decided yet. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But we're still working. So LSU.
All right, LSU. All right, who you got?
I'm doing Mizzou.
Me too, Coach. I think Mizzou keeps going. I think LSU's still trying to find some identity, which it should be hard because they should be the Bayou Bengals and all those things. I got Missouri as well. This is the one I had a hard time with. I'll be honest with you. Coach Lee was talking about in the break. He looked who Kentucky played, and he feels like Kentucky's going to get boat raced. Do you still? I guess you feel Georgia,
Oh yeah, no doubt, Georgia.
Misty.
Yeah, it's the dogs for me.
We got Georgia.
Do it.
Can I get permission?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to go Kentucky with the
Please
upset.
change it.
I'm going Kentucky with the upset. That's my super dog. That's my super dog. Like you can hear Kirk Herbstreit has been on the show, get by his book as well. All right, here you go. HSU McMurray. I do the PA for McMurray. I will not be there this Saturday because I'm going to hang out with my boys at DRI. Their dove hunts this weekend. Shout out to John. We're going to get him in to pick again as well. HSU, Josh, you went to Hardin Simmons. I went to Hardin Simmons. Who do you got?
Got HSU.
Molly? Molly got HSU. I'm going to see.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
He's on.
You asked me another question. I was doing some
I'm
research.
going McMurray. I mean, how can I say HSU
Oh,
standing next to Coach?
There you
But
go.
I got McMurray.
McMurray.
Yeah, I got Coach Neal behind this one. This McMurray, no doubt.
Well, and I'll give a plug. I sent this to Coach Neal Saturday after the game, the big win over Lions. He's doing some, Coach. The irony is Jordan played it. Hardin Simmons, a very good quarterback, Hardin Simmons, but he's doing some Jimmy Keeling type recruiting right now. I texted him the exact thing I said to him. When you go get a kid from Abernathy, that's what Coach Keeling used to do. He'd find the kid from Roby. He'd find the kid from Breckenridge and turn them into some good players. And then when your backup quarterback is the kid from South Oak Cliff, hey, come in, throw one pass touchdown, not a bad play. Tell you what, I'm going out there. I'm gonna go with you, boo. Going McMurray, upset. Sorry, Coach Burleson. I'm going McMurray. All right, Tech and Baylor. Josh, are you going with the Baptist or are you going with the not
Molly and I
Baptist?
both went Baylor. This game just looks like it's going to be terribly close, like a coin flip, basically. But and hopefully Baylor shows up because I don't like to be wrong. The only pick I got wrong last week was picking UCF to beat Baylor, and I'm now regretting that.
Well, if everything you say is wrong, then the opposite would be right. All right, what you got?
I've got my Raider red on. It's Tech for me.
Yeah, I'm going Texas Tech. Too many close games, man. They got to get it going.
All right, Texas Tech. Eastland kid Morton looks like he's still the starter, so going there. All right, Jags Bills. Jags having some battle because you're going to hear my pick in a moment because old C.J. Stroud's coming up behind, making him a little nervous. Old Nico Collins. Jacksonville or Bills, Josh?
Bills, and Molly's got the Bills also.
No chance. It's Bills all the way on this one.
Yeah, shocker.
Bills, Josh Allen's a beast.
Yeah, and I think he's ticked off. I've got the Bills too. Texans, Falcons. I'm going to go Misty and Coach first because Josh is doing some research. Hope he has the answer.
I do have the answer.
The Texans are doing something right. They're getting going. I'm going Texans on this one.
Texans.
C.J. Stroud's rocking it. Y'all, they're going to win the division. October 6th, Texans will win the division. You heard it here on the Hodge Pack. Josh, who do y'all have?
You just sealed the fate of the Texans not doing jack.
Yeah.
So
Good job.
I've got the Falcons. Molly has the Falcons. So
y'all both be wrong. That's
And
okay.
we forgot Texas A&M and Alabama.
we did. I was about to ask you what we were doing there.
Okay, there you go. Texas A&M, Alabama. Who do we got? We'll go there. Josh?
Molly and I both picked Alabama.
I'm going with the Aggies.
Alabama.
I'm going to pick I've got the Bamas. I got the old Roll Tide. They're going to keep doing
What about, hey,
Is that hit? Okay. Texans, everybody's got that done. All right, Cowboys and the 49ers. Josh, is this the one you've been struggling with?
yes, I'm struggling with it because I really don't know. I want to pick the Cowboys. Like I said, Molly and I picked every game the same thus far. She picked the 49ers, so I think I'm just going to have to go Cowboys just so we won't.
I would rather you go 49ers and be treated like the Baylor UCF game. So you're going Cowboys.
I'm going Cowboys.
Misty?
Cowboys need redemption against this team, and it's Cowboys for me.
I'm all Niners, baby. Niners fan.
There you go.
All right.
I'm going to throw it out. We got time. We got till even a little bit. Who has the most pressure this weekend? I've got the Cowboys too, but who has the most pressure? You tell me. Dak, defense, or McCarthy? Misty.
For me, it's Dak. We have to see more if we're going far in the playoffs. It's just a no-brainer at this point.
All right.
It is Dak.
All right. Coach?
I think it's going to be their defense. They're going to have to shut down too many offensive weapons.
That's mine also.
That's
It's like I think the pressure's on the defense because if they don't show up, it really doesn't matter how good Dak does.
I agree. So now, some people think it's McCarthy. He's got to find a way to win a big one, as kind of like you feel like Dak has to do. I think McCarthy's part of it, but I agree. Christian McCaffrey, he's a stud. Deebo Samuel is a stud. AKU. I mean, they are loaded, and you're on the road. So I think it's the defense in a way to help Dak be better and give those opportunities. You can catch the Cowboys right here on 106.9, the Country Giant. Tune in, listen to Babe, Brad, and Christy. Don't forget the Aggies tomorrow. Anson Tigers tonight. JB's coming in. A lot of stuff great going on. Hopefully we'll have a whole new look maybe next week. Coach, thank you so much for coming in.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Appreciate it. We'll check out some McMurray baseball along the way. Have a good weekend. Enjoy it. I hope your team wins this week, except the ones that picked against me. Take off.
Okay, let's get a quick
You
pick.
asked me to look up that, and I looked it up, and then we never talked about
Well, we ran out of it. But who is winning? Brad?
it. Brad, my dad, Evan.